It's 2024. Welcome to the Roargasm. It's 2024, and here's what we got in store. It's a gasm. Roar. It is Uncle Brother. I am joined by the first two men kicked off the Geek Squad when it was first founded in 2011. Deano Blandino, let's hear it. Roar. And his brother by the same mother, Impossible Lomas.
A roar.
Here's what's going on. In exactly 1 week and 2.5 hours at Ford Field, which we'll hear more about a little bit later, the Lions are going to kick off the football to start what we're all hoping is a historic season. And we are here to tell you about our preseason dreams and predictions, and just to set the table for what should be a sumptuous feast of football majesty. Gentlemen,
I'm just here to talk about my roarection, guys.
Aren't we all?
Roarholics Anonymous is now roarection present. It's just it's a support group, but it's a kind of a pride organization. Where
it's a bit of a porn site.
Yeah.
Audio porn.
We're giving Pornhub a run for their money.
The only recording platform we could use is in the Cayman Islands. It's nothing. There's nowhere else that it's legal to lay down this content.
Well, that's where most ejaculations comes from. Premature ejaculations sourced through the Cayman Islands.
Roar porn.
So we don't
Does
have
anyone have roarporn.com?
we will.
Well, do you guys remember a few years ago we sort of stumbled upon Lions erotica stories? Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah. This whole season is going to be one long Lions erotica.
Yeah. You got to make
sure
you're in the frame.
We don't have a lot of time. What we're going to do today, ladies and gentlemen, is basically walk through the speed round, and just kind of provide commentary and talk about what we're feeling and what we're anticipating. And the first
we're going to slow down that speed round.
We're going to slow down. The first question, and so I sent out a 18 question speed round, and I sent it to the three of us as well as the rest of the inner circle, Fantetti and Airbnb Low. And we're going to just go through our answers, and I think the first one is a good way to kind of talk about how we're doing before we get to actual predictions about the Lions. So the first question was, what adverb-adjective pairing best describes your current state vis-a-vis the Lions' 24-25 campaign? So, for example, extremely excited would be one such adverb-adjective pairing. Deano, why don't you tell us how you answered that?
I answered the only way I believe I could, which is painfully roarect.
Painfully roarect, which is an adjective. So can you unpack that a little bit? In particular, what's the nature of the pain?
The nature of the pain is just, I guess, this... I've never been as roarect in my life approaching a season, so maybe throbbingly roarect, if I could amend it. But I believe I have virtually no reservations about my excitement for the Lions this year. I feel like this year and next year, this is our window. We've got the right coach, the right leadership, the right quarterback, the right system in place. Let's go.
Wow. Lomas, you have a similar answer to this, which is...
Yeah, what was my answer?
It was
my answer?
Alarmingly long roarection. So you didn't actually match the grammatical template here.
No,
you could have just said alarmingly long, and we would have all understood what was long. But why didn't you tell us a little bit?
Alarmingly roarect.
Yeah, alarmingly erect would have
Well-
worked. Talk to us, Lomas.
Well, first of all, I want to say I don't feel bound by some, like grammatically whatever. I'm outside the box this whole season, man. I'm going charting my own path, and I think it is similar to Deano's in that alarmingly is sort of in quotes. Like, am I actually alarmed? No way.
Yeah, and this is the best pain I've ever felt, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just how things are. I mean, look, my roarection began near the start of last season and has not abated. And so that's a long time to go around with a roarection, but you know what? It's not actually a long time. It's just the right amount of time, and I expect it to keep on going on for many years to come, God willing.
Wow. Wow. Well, my
I don't imagine that
yes.
mine will subside until the parade down Woodward.
Well, even then it will grow to larger proportions.
I have a feeling you're actually going to decorate it with like colored tissue paper and be afloat in the parade.
Well, it's like when you get a cast and people sign it and decorate it.
Exactly.
That's what I want.
Well, I think the entire city's going to float on a Honolulu blue and silver stream of Roargasm fluid.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, I hate to get that graphic, but I don't know how else to put it.
But by hate, you mean love.
Yeah.
What's the name of the governmental body that, like, when there's a natural disaster gets called up? What is that called? Do you remember?
FEMA. It's FEMA.
Is it? I think there's a new
FEMA.
FEMA office that's just opened up right across the street from Ford Field. They're like, we're going to have some messes to clean up come October.
Well, I mean, the county drain commissioner has been on high alert for since Dan Campbell came to town.
You
I think
can't.
the official dog catcher's been on alert for some reason too. We're not
Dunham's
quite
is
sure
on
why.
back order for Lions waiters, Lions branded waiters that people you got up to the hip that you can just walk around.
I hear Lions colostomy bags have been flying off the shelf.
Well, my answer to this, a little less totally insane, is utterly impatient. I just want this to begin.
Yep.
It's interesting. It wasn't really on my radar for a lot of the summer, especially because the Olympics took a lot of my attention in a very good way. Loved the Olympics, had a great time with that. And then it ended, and then I was like, oh, crap, this is about to happen. And I have been steeping myself in just general predictions around the Mediaverse. And as you know, as we've discussed, the Gray Lady of Sports Journalism, which is in hospice care, picked the Lions to win the Super Bowl. I think Bill Simmons picked them either to win or to make it. And the other guy he
Uncle
talked
Sal
to,
as well.
yeah, I mean everybody, and so I'm excited, and I'm a little terrified. The part of me that's it's what's crazy about this season is that the rational part of me is more optimistic than the irrational part of me. Like all my negativity and hesitation about this season is I know it to be less rational than my vision of good outcomes. Because I think this is a very good football team, from top to bottom and from side to side. But let's get down to and so briefly, Fantetti wrote Fantetti. Read extremely cautious mental case is what he wrote.
Yeah.
And then Arlo wrote
Tracks.
Arlo, who last year was still scoffing at the side of the bandwagon, is all in now, and he wrote positively unhinged.
Nice. That's huge.
Yeah.
We have gotten Arlo, by the way, has been like 30 some years sober, I think.
Oh yeah.
He's from his
Let's
workaholism.
clarify when it comes to the Lions.
Yeah.
This is what we mean.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is
But he's been the
workaholism.
holdout skeptic this whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And now
And he is back on the sauce, people. We got him back on the sauce.
So
He's back. He's better
back
than
on
ever.
sauce. He was the last
Nice.
guy. This is the scary thing is there's no governor, there's no guardrails Really. It's
No.
just well,
If Fanteddi's are
yeah.
if
ahead.
Fanteddi's providing our guardrail, we're in trouble. He seems to be the most skeptical. We're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he's
Because
really
that is not a steady hand.
no.
No.
I'm feeling like he's the piggy to our Lord of the Flies at this point. Like he's the super
Yeah.
ego and he's helpless, and it's gonna end with a lot of
He will
pain.
be
His
butchered.
glasses will be smashed and he'll just be groping around in the dark, essentially.
There shall be blood.
Yeah.
There shall be. Well, let's move on to actual sports predictions. The first question
Watch out.
is, what will the Lions' record be this year? And Deano goes big and goes home with a. Would you like to read us your prediction of the Lions' record this year?
Yeah. I wrote 1,000,000.
Excellent. So that includes some playoff wins. I assume.
It well, you'll have to wait and see.
I think
because those questions are coming.
I think it includes the next 10,000 seasons.
Yeah. The next
Pretty much.
300,000. So you don't think they're going to lose until until
Realistically-
like 74 60 12 or something like that in the future.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna I don't know what the record in the regular season 12-5, something along those lines, but I just think we're going to be ready for the playoffs regardless.
Wow.
That's all I really care about.
Lomas, what'd you say? Do you want me to read them or you have them here? I have them written.
I actually have it here. Well, I took this seriously, and I gave a realistic response.
Ooh.
Look, my pick last year, which I nailed, was 12-5, and I think the Lions are better. We'll get into this later, but I mean, I think they're going all the way.
Wow.
I picked it 13-4. I mean, honestly, I went down the schedule. I'm like, I think they can win all these games, but I'm trying to be a little tiny bit realistic. I picked 13-4. Let's go.
All right. Well, I had them at 11-6 and I moved it to 12-5. I think the theme, and this is not going to make me popular with you two guys. My theme of this year is I feel like we're going to be better and we're going to also encounter disappointment is kind of where I'm at. And so I think they're going to go 12-5 because I think they're going to be consistent. I think they're going to be better prepared for what kept them from being like 14-3 last year, which was just like a bad stretch. I think this team's going to be consistent. I think they're going 12-5. Fanteddi's got 11-6, and Arlo at 13-4. He's
Let's
in.
go.
He's all in.
He's all in, boys.
go.
Question number
Me too,
3.
baby.
Question number 3. Will the Lions make the playoffs in Deano? You're on brand on this one. With, do you remember your response?
Is this a serious question?
Yeah. Well, arguably.
That's my response.
It shows how far
on.
we've come.
Yeah. I was offended by this question.
Yeah.
It was both a micro and a macro aggression at the same time. And I mean, my response was fuck yeah. I really should have just left it blank. I don't know why I even bothered to respond.
I was
mean,
almost
You
going to
should've-
refuse to respond.
You should have written fuck you to that.
Yeah.
exactly. Really.
Well,
I mean,
everybody.
My reaction is,
Go ahead.
I just think my bandwagon riding roarection is such that, I hated you a little bit when I saw that question. Like, this is, becoming an extremist movement.
Yes. A fundamentalist movement.
Yeah.
And despite our decades of friendship going way back,
Yeah.
that almost ruined it.
Yeah.
The extremists have
That was
won
felt a
have
little
won the
bit of a
day.
violent impulse.
The extremists have won the day, and there's no moderation in our movement at this point. I said yes.
We are
Fanteddi
negotiating
said
with
yes.
terrorists.
Arlo said all caps roar. So then we
Nice.
move
There
on
you
to
go.
question 4. Things get a teeny bit more interesting. Will the Lions win the NFC North? If not, who will? Deano, you were feeling it on this one. You remember what?
Duh. Yep. Duh. Screw the Packers, Care Bears, and Vikings.
Wow. The Vikings.
You get that, guys? The Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Care Bears, and the Minnesota Vikings. Those are our opponents. Ah!
I believe last year we called them the Minnesota Cockrings.
I think that's right.
Yep.
Fine.
Or was
Either
that,
will do. Don't care.
You know, the Packers are getting a lot of love in the national media.
Well, we're going to have to talk about that.
We're going to have to.
Yeah.
And I will even say locally, the Care Bears, people think like they're making the playoffs. A lot of people.
Yep.
And I'm trying to
There's a lot of Caleb Williams hype out there.
I'm trying to explain to them, when you have a really good quarterback and really good receivers and a shitty offensive line, you lose a lot of football games.
Good luck with that. And a rookie QB.
And may the Care Bears lose a lot of football games. Lomas, what was your answer?
Well, so my answer was Lions will win, nobody else matters. And look, I'm just voting straight ticket this whole time. I think we're all a little worried about the Packers, or about the Packers. What else did we call them? The Fudge Packers was another one.
But we decided on the Packers.
We decided on the Packers.
We're an inclusive podcast.
Look, people are high on them. We got a taste of it last year. By the second time we played them, they were much better. It's not fair. You know, it fucking sucks. For how long are they going to have a top-tier QB, you know? So they're in the rearview mirror. They're in the mirror. They're there. I can't pretend that I'm not at all concerned about it, but of course I'm going with the Roar to win the division.
I have the Roar down as a repeat. I do have some fear about the Flambe Peckers, but screw them. They're not ready anyways. We're ahead of them. And the other two...
This is the 89 Pistons and the upcoming Bulls.
Wow. Hopefully Jordan Love's not MJ. But I understand what you're saying.
But we still need the Jordan rules. We can employ the Jordan rules.
He's JL. Yeah.
Even Fantetti has the Lions repeating, and Arlo asks rhetorically, does Dan Campbell bite kneecaps? Question mark, exclamation mark, question mark.
If Dan Campbell bites a kneecap in the forest, but no one's there to hear it, has he actually bitten? And the answer is yes.
Definitely.
Of course.
So now things get interesting. If you think the Lions will make the playoffs, how many playoff games do you think they will win? Deano.
Here we go.
I said, Deano says all.
Wow.
I said all of them. All of the
I feel like we were mind melding.
Yeah.
So this is where I part with you guys. I have the Lions winning. I have the Lions winning 2 playoff games. I have them going to where they went last year.
We already did that.
I know. I feel like we're on a 2-year path. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think we're gonna earn it this year. We're gonna be great, and I think there's gonna be some sadness in February or late January, whatever that is. But I hope I'm wrong.
Okay, former friend. Who do you think we lose to in the NFC Championship, former friend?
I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say the Niners again, but it could be I don't know. I think that it's going to be a year of surprises. It always is. But I
totally look. Just because you didn't go along with us, I totally respect your view, traitor.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Fantetti said at least one would settle for more, and Arlo said 3 playoff games.
Yes.
And then,
meaning we win the division. Yeah.
We know what it means.
Do you think the Lions will make the Super Bowl? Deano.
Well, yeah. I'll see. My official answer is I'll see you at the parade down Woodward.
No. That's the next question. That was the next question.
Oh, shoot. All I wrote was yep. Yeah. Because I'm getting bored. I mean, I'm getting bored of this, like, are we going to win? Are we going to win? Yeah. Like, this is it. I think this is the year. We're winning the Super Bowl.
Wow. Lomas.
So I wrote they fucking better. It's Super Bowl or bust, baby. And I'll tell you why. I wrote that before I listened to the Sports Guy pod and all that, and so I felt a little when I wrote it. I was like, well, of course I'm going to say that. Now I feel better about it because we're not alone. And also, one of my goals this year is to keep representing the O-line. Because it's all about the O-line. We have the best. And I will be releasing O-line, the sequel, because we have some new guys on the O-line.
Nice,
so I'm going to do another version of that.
O-line remix.
And a big reason is because Frank Ragnow it's unclear how many more years he will play. It was a little bit of a question even if he'd be here for this season. Remember toward the end of last season?
Totally.
He's super important. This is it. If we got the best O-line in the league. We are right there. Let's go. They better fucking get to the Super Bowl.
Nice.
If
I
they
hope
don't,
you guys
it'll be
are
a
right. I won't be surprised. I'm hedging
gonna
my bets. I'm predicting a repeat of last season. I think they got to take some more bumps before they take it all. I wouldn't be surprised with
What
anything.
happened to Uncle Brother? He just...
Should we, Lomas, should we continue the pod or should we get out right now?
Wait, are we being mic'd right now?
Are we being mic'd? Dude, just
we're not.
huddle in private.
We're not mic'd right
I think
now.
Uncle Ted's against us. Is he? Can we trust him anymore?
I can bring in, anyone else to replace him. It's,
I think-
not a big deal.
Okay, like a real roaraholic, because this guy's, I don't know, something happened to him, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Uncle Brother.
Hey, Uncle Brother, what's up?
Hey, dude.
Hey.
Cool. No.
Let's keep doing the pod.
No, yeah,
Wow.
you're great. You're doing great, man.
Wow.
We love you.
Wow. Fantetti refuses to answer the question, respectfully. And Erlo just had a Baruch Hashem. He just,
He
praise
is
the
feeling
Lord.
it.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
He's feeling the Holy Ghost power.
Would Uncle Brother be an idiot to even ask the next question? Now, Dino, let's hear what you got there.
So the next question, I'll see you at the parade down Woodward, Uncle Brother. I'll be the naked roaraholic wearing a Lions Super Bowl tattoo that matches yours.
Wow. Well, can I ask a question? If they win the Super Bowl, are you getting ink?
Ooh.
Are you
That would have been a good question on the survey, dude.
Well, let's hear it right now. I'm throwing it at you.
Wow.
Well, let me ask a two-part question. Were you to get a Lions tattoo after they win the Super Bowl this year, what would it look like? What would it be? What would you
that's
get?
so
What would
easy.
you get, and where would you get it?
Well, obviously, silver and blue streaks on my roarection. I mean, I think that goes without saying.
I'll tell you what I'd do. First of all, the answer is yes. If they win the Super Bowl, I will get ink.
Yes.
I will shave my head, and it'll just be an ink of a helmet
Nice.
that replaces my hair, and it's just a permanent Lions helmet covering my face and entire head.
So I have
Pretty
two
good.
answers for this. The first is that I would get tattoos on my knees to make it look as if they've been bitten off. Like a kind of like
nice.
bloody, exposed flesh
Yeah.
and cartilage. But the other one is I would get a tattoo on my member, and people would look at it. They'd be like, "Why do you have the abbreviation of the state of Florida on your penis?" And then I would become fully erect, and it would say "Full Campbell."
That's beautiful. I love the creativity. The only thing is, Uncle Brother, instead of having your kneecaps look like they're ripped off, would you not
Get an ass cheek?
consider a tattoo on your chin of a kneecap dribbling out of your mouth?
Out of my mouth.
A bloody kneecap dribbling out of your mouth.
Nice.
Full permanent on your chin.
Dribbling down.
Yeah.
Can I ask a slightly more serious question along these lines? If the Lions
Depends what you mean by slightly more serious.
No, you'll understand what I'm getting at. If the Lions win the Super Bowl, do you think there's a chance that Detroit area tattoo parlors will run out of Honolulu blue? Like
Absolutely.
they won't have enough of that, right?
There's already a shortage.
We already know the Detroit area will be in full apocalypse mode. The drain commissioner the FEMA, everything, every department's going to have to be called in, and the tattoo brothers are going to be going along with that.
It'll be the first time that a city has been identified to have a roarection somehow.
Yeah.
Where science will have to be called in to figure that one out.
It is,
but,
yeah, it's a municipal roarection. Citywide. Remember, it was like when we were kids, and you would eagerly sit in front of the TV on like a January night waiting for it to say Oakland County Schools being canceled. And it's just like
exactly.
roarections in the following districts and municipalities: Macomb County, Wayne County,
Livingston County,
Oakland County.
Citizens, please remain indoors.
We were in the middle of a question. I said, Uncle Brother has ruined my life, in response to would Uncle Brother be an idiot to even ask the next obvious question. Fantetti said, without hesitation, yes. Again, respectfully. And then Erlo said, Uncle Brother would be a genius if he asked the Super Bowl question.
I said, we didn't get mine yet.
Oh, we didn't
I
get
said,
I'm
good
sorry.
Lord. I said, good Lord, even I don't want to go there. But the answer is yes. Roar!
Wow.
I mean, what else are we going to say? Except for you, dude. You're the only one not on board.
I mean, it is pretty amazing that we are just mocking you ceaselessly for under predicting the Lions at returning to the conference championship. We're like, you loser.
We're upset you're not assuming the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, come on.
It's amazing. It's just amazing.
I mean, really, let's be honest. To honestly pick, even if you're a Chiefs fan, like the chance of them winning this year is better than any other team. But it's just usually to pick against the field is a tough thing. But like, yeah, I'm going. I held back last year. I've held back in previous years, and this year I'm going for it.
Well, I will say partially one of the reasons to pick them is that no, there hasn't been a three-peat ever in the Super Bowl era, which is what's on the Chiefs' plate. And it just seems like, I mean, San Francisco is obviously the next pick, but it's hard to do even what they've done, you know?
Yeah.
And so you just kind of go down the line. But anyways, here's another question. Now we're getting a little more specific. How will we feel when we look back on this year's rookie and free agent class? Deano, regale us with your wisdom.
We'll feel that they are the final pieces to the puzzle. I think the rookie corners will struggle early but gain confidence around the midway point. I really like Sione Vaki as an X factor on offense. Ben Johnson is going to draw up some crazy shit for him.
What tell us about this guy? Not Ben Johnson. The guy.
Just in preseason, he just seems to have a knack for getting open, for getting the ball, for making really shifty moves when he's running. And he's just another piece that I think seems like, although he's a rookie, will be very dependable and is just going to be open because they're going to have to cover the other guys.
Crazy that he was drafted as a defender, but is playing on. Oh, he's just a running. He's a running back.
He was
a
dude.
Yeah, he was a two-way player in college. Right.
He was like an X Factor player, but he's just a really good athlete. And in the preseason, he just showed a lot of like mature NFL ready, like nothing too fancy, but just like he's a guy. He's just a football, like what Brad Holmes and Campbell said about him. He's just a football player. He can get open. He loves contact. Loves running the ball. Like, I think he's just going to be able to plug in, not do anything too fancy, but come up big in some situations, like goal line situations and whatnot.
Nice. Lomas, what do you got?
He's going to be another one of these Brad Holmes guys that were just like, how the hell did he find this guy?
Yeah.
Like Laporta last year.
Go ahead, Lomas.
So
what do you got?
I said, I pray to the football gods that will be gobsmacked by how well the Rooks played and how big of a difference the free agents made. So, pretty straightforward answer. Look, last year we were excited at the beginning of the season by some of the free agent pickups on defense who all promptly got injured. And so it didn't really work out. So I am beseeching the football gods. No injuries. Let's give it a chance.
Yep.
We did exactly what we needed to do. They spent early round draft picks on our weakest position, and football gods willing, these guys are going to ball out. Even if they're rookies, they might struggle a little bit, but even if they're just basically fine, then that'll be a huge improvement.
I wrote in Homes We Trust, and I follow a little bit of some stuff that Deano has said over the years, which is, I think what's the genius about Holmes and what he's created is a situation where he can bring guys in, especially now, where like he's like, I just need B plus A minus guys at a couple spots, and we're putting like they're almost. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but it's kind of like when the Spurs would bring in these players and they would succeed right away because they were coming into like a stable, mature environment that was like the whole organization had its shit together, and you weren't asked to do more than you could do. And I feel like he's gonna. It might not be the total home run that last year was in terms of the rookie class, though I think we'll see a bigger impact from free agents than we did in the previous year.
Sure hope so.
But I just think that the most amazing thing about this team in a lot of ways is like the kind of substructure of the organization at this point is just so solid. And so I guess I would be as surprised by, I think I would be the thing that would most surprise me is if the offense was like not. Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
Jesus.
He's crying. He's crying from excitement.
He couldn't turn away from the mic. He has to lean right into the mic to blow his nose.
I leaned in, baby. That's what this year's all about.
Leaning in.
Hey, blow your nose. Do it.
I'd be surprised. I think the number one surprise for me this season would be if the offense isn't elite. But the next thing would be just like, wow, he whiffed on a bunch of these new guys. I think that would be the next thing that would surprise me in the negative. Fantetti said pride, satisfaction in Homes We Trust, and Erlo said this question is above my pay grade. He still knows where he, where he sits on this. Now we're going to get even more specific with really one of the main subplots of this season, and certainly a subplot that touches on the real ceiling of this team. And this has been a storyline for a couple years, but now I think it has the possibility of really being a fascinating storyline, which is what will the J-Mo story look like by February? Deano.
I wrote 50 catches, 800 yards, 8 TDs.
Wow.
I think he'll be targeted a lot more. I think they're just going to get him the ball more. I think everything out of preseason and training camp has been that he's finally put his nose to the grindstone. He's finally put in the work, the attention to detail that he needs to do. So I do think he'll be ready, and I do think it's all about Goff's trust in him, and it looks like it's getting there, and they're gonna force feed him the ball enough times a game. He's just such. We saw this in the playoffs too. He's such a difference maker that they just need to find ways to get him the ball. Nice. His speed is outrageous.
Lomas.
Yeah. Well, so I wrote redemption! ! Potential bust, meaning there was a little bit of the vibes, maybe this guy's a bust, to boom. He'll emerge as one of the fastest and most elusive guys in the league, and a terrifying deep threat.
Nice.
So that's, that would be awesome. And if this dude can, look, I believe this is the first season he's had a legit training camp.
That's
right.
True.
First year he was injured. Then he had the whole betting thing, and he was. Did he miss training camp, or was he just banned from the games? I don't remember.
I don't know if he missed training camp, but he couldn't play in any preseason, I don't think, or any
right.
games.
In any case, he didn't have normal development, and now he's had a full training camp. Every word out of Lions HQ was, "This guy is doing awesome, and he's gonna be something special." So again, in DC, in Brad, we trust. I trust. Let's go.
I wrote wrote that he's going to have his moments. I think it's still going to be a little inconsistent. In keeping with my larger 2-year plan, I think next year he's going to be the dude. But I think he's definitely going to have his best season so far. It's gonna depend also on how much. I mean, he is still a player that will have to be developed in games, and so Goff is going to have to make decisions in the middle of games of like, how much am I feeding this guy the ball when? I mean, think
either
about,
he's open or he's not.
I know, but it's just like, I think at this point, Goff could probably. I think Amon-Ra could probably have like 18 receptions a game at this point. I think the extent to which those two guys are in sync.
Yeah.
And so it's like I don't know. But Fantetti thinks.
Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Well, I just want to add.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, part of it is, even if he's just that deep threat guy some games that the other team has to account for, and we said this last year, it helps get other guys open. I mean, he's far from our only weapon if it's because Sun God, Laporta, and Gibbs are getting the ball, and maybe even Vaki's open a ton, and they don't need the deep ball to him. That's also okay. Like, he can affect the game in a lot of ways.
I totally think it's true. I will give you. I'm just going to say my hottest take on this whole survey. I think the Lions are going to have the number one offense in the league. Number one. Nice. And I think it's just going to be because of... Think how many guys are going to be a problem for the other team. Amon-Ra, Gibbs, Montgomery, Laporta. J-Mo is not even... He's at the most the fifth biggest problem that you're going to face. And if he's a legit problem out there, like, you have to account for him, it's going to be outrageous.
We have Jameer in his second year. He has a full season under his belt where he had a great rookie season, but it's still a rookie season when he's like learning the ropes. I mean, he should be a whole bunch better.
Yeah. Airlos.
And dare I say...
Go ahead.
Panay is probably starting to enter his prime, maybe.
They're all starting to enter their prime. Well, no, that's not even true. I mean,
still, these guys are still really young.
Yeah. Airlo said J-Mo on it, which is...
J-Mo on it. J-Mo on it.
J-Mo
if you want
on
to get
it.
another feeling around.
Think about how excited those guys are that sat behind us at the game we went to with Big Don. They were so desperate for Jameson Williams action.
Yes.
Question 10. Will the investment the Lions recently made in Jared Goff appear to have been a wise one come early 2025? Deano.
Yes, he's got the confidence of the team, and his salary is reasonable as far as the new crop of QB signings goes. Totally paying them the right amount for what the market is now.
Lomas, what do you got?
I mean, yes. Fucking love the guy. It's such a great story. I mean, the basic answer is yes, and I think people are learning to love Jared. We already love him. We're already wide awake. Everyone else is learning you don't sleep on Jared, because even last year, the chatter from like the sports guy and other guys like that were like, yeah, the Lions, Goff, okay, system QB, whatever. I think people are waking up now that like, he is what he is, but give the dude protection, and we have the best O-line in the league. He can win you the ball. Like, he can get you, you can go far with Jared, so hell yeah.
I wrote yes, mostly. I think there'll be moments of controversy in this regard. I think of their losses, however many there are, I think there'll be one or two where his mobility will be part of the story. But that being said, and building on my overall incredible optimism about the offense, I think the thing about this team, and this is the thing about pro sports in general at this point, the amount of continuity this team has on offense is wildly atypical in professional sports and in professional football. Like, we all know, right? The fact that Ben Johnson came back was so unexpected that these guys have all these years together, right? They have the O-line. There's only one guy replaced, and he's very good. And I just think at this point, the Lions know how to minimize what Jared's admitted not small limitation is in terms of mobility. And the other thing I think is that just reading stuff this year, I come to realize, like, he's a gym rat. He is driven. And he's also, I will confess to having watched, like, one of those, like, Lions-produced preseason series that are on YouTube. And they were doing all these interviews with him.
Don't apologize for it.
Don't apologize.
He was doing all these interviews, and you realize he says nothing interesting during the course of like a 10-minute interview. Like there's nothing in his head other than like, but there's also just like what you act like. Why, like when I play pickup basketball, I like wildly fluctuate from like hitting all my shots to missing because I just get in my head. And you realize in his head he's just like, I just go through my reps, you know, I put in the work and I believe in the system and you actually want a guy like that has nothing. There's no like space in his mind that's devoted to any large existential questions about the meaning of what he's doing or his ability. He's just like, I believe in myself, I believe in our players, and I just sort of think he's a little unflappable, except I guess in a game if they're really bringing the heat. But I think the offense is designed that if you really bring the heat on him, you know, you're going to be watching Jahmyr Gibbs running down the sideline.
It's a good point, and frankly, I think that quality of being able to just the only thing that matters is the next play.
Yeah.
Even if you just threw a pick six, like it's gone. I think that is especially important in football and especially important for QBs, much more than any other sport. You know, maybe like for an MLB pitcher giving up a homer or something, like whatever.
Right.
But I think especially for QBs because there's a lot of shit that just happens that's not necessarily even in your control, or like, you know, you get hit and smashed to the ground. So having a guy that all he cares about and thinks about is playing football, good. And he has that ability mentally. Like, he's been through enough shit, and he's now landed in a good spot, like in the most unexpected of ways, you know, with a great narrative. Perfect. Yeah, he's not a colorful personality. He's not super entertaining. Great. Just want him to throw darts and throw TDs. Yeah. That's the only thing that matters.
Totally.
And I would say also of like all the top tier teams, the Lions have had no off-season drama this year. No. Which is pretty awesome. Nothing. Just totally smooth. Like, this is a united front.
Right. No one's dating Taylor Swift. There's just nothing.
No.
And also,
Jared Married put a ring on his smoking hot swimsuit model girlfriend, now his wife,
no
over
one
the
heard
summer.
about it. Yeah. Didn't even know about it.
It's all good. We love you for that.
That's
you know what? I want to say one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just one other thing, and this isn't specific to Jared, but it's like now when guys come to the Lions, whether it's through the draft or free agent, it's like it used to be if you ended up on the Lions, you ended up on the Lions, and it was, you know, basically the end of your career, right? And or you were like, okay, I want to be here for as little time as possible, just get traded, get some money, like whatever. That was your only goal. And now the expectations have totally shifted. So if you're coming to the Lions, hey, Uncle Brother, shift your camera so you're fully in the frame.
Oh, sorry. I was moving
there you
around.
go.
Sorry.
You know, now it's like, no, I think the perception has obviously changed. It's like, okay, this is for real. Like, you want to win? Go to the Lions. Like, they're for real. And the expectations are sky high. So it's like, it's not like you can just show up and you're the starting whatever. Like, you're going to have to compete.
Right.
And it's incredible, how the culture has changed that way.
I just want to butt in. If we are likely not going to have much time left. If we actually want to make our way through this incredibly slow speed round, we might actually need to go into full speed mode.
All right, here we go.
That might be our best.
We're going to be called away in about 5 minutes.
Fantetti wrote God willing with regards to Goff, and Erlo wrote in Jared we trust. Will our defense be a top 10 unit according to some combination of points per game, yards per game, game, etc. Deano.
I think the defense will struggle a bit with the on corners, but will finish the year solid, ready for a playoff run. Skirted it a little, but I think top 12.
Lomas.
Okay, I said I'll settle for top 15. A lot of unknowns right now, like how good the rookies are and are going to play right out of the gate, and if anyone besides Hutt shows up on the D line. I think there's a lot of potential. I would settle for top 15.
I'm going to say 10th exactly. I agree with Deano a little bit. There's just more. They don't have the continuity overall. They do have a lot of pieces coming back. So it'll be interesting to see. I also am not convinced that Aaron Glenn is the defensive equivalent of Ben Johnson, but we'll see. Fantetti said no, they have better odds of making the Super Bowl. It is what it is. And Airlow said, sadly, it will be a lowercase d in the D, and the offense will carry it. 12, question 12. Will our offense be a top 5 unit as measured by the above? Deano.
Yes, last year was just a taste of things to come.
Nice. Lomas.
I said, if not, something has gone horribly wrong.
That is true. I wrote, as I told you already, the Lions will have the number 1 offense in the NFL.
Jeez Louise.
Fantetti said yes, and Airlow said yes. Ben Johnson's feet will never touch the ground this season. He is a demigod.
Nice.
Who will be
into
the
that.
Lions MVP? Deano went for 2 things.
I split it between Amon-Ra and Penei Sewell.
Nice. Lomas had almost the same answer, but go ahead.
Yeah, I said got to go with Jared because we will go as far as he takes us, but it will secretly be Penei.
Nice. I wrote,
Has an
Gibbs
offensive
Montgomery
lineman
Wonder
ever
Twins
won
activate.
Shit.
I can't imagine. God, I love Penei Sewell so much. Oh my God. Fantetti said Penei, and Airlow said Sun God.
Nice. Sun God Penei.
What did you say? What did you say? You?
I said Gibbs Montgomery Wonder Twins activate.
Okay.
And then question number 14. Who, if anyone, will make the leap this year? And Deano, you have a very interesting answer.
I'm really hoping it's Jack Campbell, the linebacker we drafted last year. He was the one weak link in last year's sensational draft class and is maybe the key to the D taking that next step to get into the top 12 or 10.
Nice. Lomas.
So I said I would willingly offer up my firstborn, sorry Gav, as a sacrifice to the football gods to make J-Mo the leap guy. If he leaps, we are fucking unstoppable.
I can't argue with that. Both myself and Fantetti answered Gibbs. I really think that Ben Johnson spent a lot of the offseason figuring out how to get Gibbs the ball 5 times a game with nobody that close to him. At which point he's just... Because we've kind of... it's been obvious all along, right? You just give that guy a little... a pass out in the flat, and amazing things are going to happen.
He's a problem.
He's going to score... I think... This isn't a question. I think he's going to lead this team in touchdowns. How do you like that prediction? But who knows? And Airlow, J-Mo on it. Airlow, J-Mo on it. Bringing this back to the pod, which member of the Roargasm's inner circle will struggle the most to survive this year's campaign? Deano.
By the way, you don't want to be in the middle of the Roargasm circle. That's not a place you really want to be.
There's not enough ponchos in the world for that.
Right.
Wetsuits.
I mean, that's not a comfortable place for
One
most.
of those old-fashioned wetsuit
no
things
judgment.
with a big bubble.
Yeah, well, it's
no judgment
you got your Lions hazmat suit on.
Yeah.
So,
But
Deano, how'd you answer
I wrote
this?
the least. The person, the Roaraholic that will struggle the most is Uncle Brother, you, Tedrick. No number of meditative walks through the park will be able to take your mind off the Honolulu Blue this fall. Sorry, bud, but
I feel seen, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Lomas went with the obvious, but go ahead.
Yeah, I wrote Fantetti, obviously, not limited to the 2024-25 season or to football.
It's true. I mean, there's no point in really, I wrote Fantetti and I will go full Rumble in the Jungle on this one. I win, that is lose on an 8th round TKO, but the smart money is actually on Lomas at plus 230 because Lomas more than anyone. I mean, you could argue with Arlow's answers this year that he's pivoted, but Deano's been a lunatic all along, so he's he's going to ride and die.
Thank you.
I'm hedging my bets still. Fantetti's Fantetti. Lomas has gone full. I am throwing caution to the wind. And if this season is an unhappy season, Lomas will be utterly, utterly vulnerable to the fates. And it could get I mean, he'll need a lot of
I can't
robes.
deny it.
He'll need a
I'll
lot,
need a lot
of
of help.
robes.
I'll go through a lot of robes, yeah.
Fantetti wrote,
true.
I think we all know the answer to that question, but I'd hedge my bet with Deano. And then Arlo wrote Uncle Brother. Perhaps related.
All over the map.
Perhaps related. Will Fantetti be wearing or burning his Jake Bates jersey when Hanukkah rolls around? Deano?
So, yeah, I wrote both, which means he'll be burning it as he's wearing it, which is a little crazy, but it's kind of on theme. But Bates will both make some 55-plus yarders, but also miss some extra points and will drive us all crazy.
Yep. Lomas, what did you have?
Very similar. I said he will be wearing a burned jersey, basically. Yeah. And, yeah, once again, the irony continues that the Lions are going to have the best offense in the league and maybe one of the worst field goal kicking games, which is just so hilarious given our history. But the silver lining is it's even more incentive to go for it on 4th down.
It's true.
Even more than we already do. So I can't say I'm totally displeased by that.
Yeah. I wrote exactly what Deano wrote. He will be wearing it as it burns. He's going.
Nice.
He's going.
Wow.
Fantetti said
each other
magic.
well.
Fantetti wrote magic. Dreidel says wearing. And then Erlo also had a great answer to this: wearing it with nothing else. He's going full Daffy Duck or whatever, like with the shirt and no pants.
Yeah.
But you guys, I just saw a story on ESPN that the Packers brought in a 100% brand new kicker that the coach hasn't even seen yet. So they're also flying.
Interesting.
They're also flying without whatever. Who will win the Super Bowl? Who will win Super Bowl 59?
Forward down the field, we are a team that will not yield. That's my answer.
Lomas.
I wrote, good Lord, the fucking Lions, that's who. I gotta believe. Roar, all caps, roar.
Wow. I threw the wet blanket on this. I said the Bills. And you know what?
You.
If the Lions aren't going to win, I'll be happy for the Bills to win. That would not upset me. But Fantetti, with an oddly elusive answer, wrote the team that deserves it most, and I'll leave it at that. Arlo wrote roar, and now here we go. In a week, we have game 1, the Rams visiting Ford Field Sunday night game. Deano, give us your prediction. I believe the Lions are favored by 3.5, by the way.
Oh, wow. I wrote Lions 20s. I'm going pretty cautious with the first game. Lions 27, Ram 24.
Wow. Lomas was feeling his own.
I have it. One. Lions 38, Scams 21. Get it? The Scams.
The Lambs.
Lambs also work.
I have Lions 33, Scams 20, Roar. And you know what's going to be glorious about that game? You know who's not wearing a Rams uniform and or pads?
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald, my friend.
Oh, thankfully.
And you know what that means? You know what that means?
Nightmare.
Lions score of lots of points against the Rams.
That's the
Fantetti,
idea.
31-27. Lions roar. Arlo, 31-21 roar. Everybody has them winning game one. You guys haven't been pulled away for dinner yet. What else would you like to say? What else should we
Well, I want to ask a question.
Go ahead.
I want to throw a hypothetical in there. If, and of course this won't happen, but if in one of the Roar verses in the Roar multiverse, the Lions, just like we went into Kansas City last year and unexpectedly beat the Chiefs, if somehow we lose this opening game, what is your strategy for coping with this?
Can I
I'll
ask
answer
one
first.
question? Can I ask one question, which is, are you willing to tell me the flavor of the loss? Is it close and Jake Bates misses a field goal? Is it like the Lions lose like
My answer,
30?
I can stop you right there.
Yeah.
I am not willing to go there. No, I'm
Just
not
they
willing to
lose.
speculate on
Okay.
that. I don't want to entertain it too much. I'm just throwing it out there. You have to use your imagination.
I'll start by saying I have no strategy to deal with it.
Okay.
None. I am flying blind here.
I think I'm going to lean into two things. One is, I think the Lions players are aware of how much hype there is, and I think the coaching staff and the leaders on the team are doing everything to like remind guys like, you don't get any points for that, you don't get any wins for being predicted to go to the Super Bowl, and yet I think it is very difficult as a human being to not a little bit believe that somehow the work has been done for you. And so I think I would try to embrace it as a necessary wake-up call. And I think also I
Good
think
strategy.
I think also that this team has shown I will not panic unless it's a really ugly loss where like they just seem unprepared. But I think this team also, we know, has this team does really well. They do well with adversity. They respond to losing well. And so if they lose this game, I will also lean into the fact that like I don't even think Goff has worn a uniform in the preseason. He definitely didn't take a snap.
Yeah.
So
Right.
and
You can expect a little sloppiness.
it could be sloppy at the beginning. They could be totally not. It could be some weird stuff. But the other thing I heard in that podcast was that the Lions were 5-1 in primetime, like national televised games last season.
Yeah.
They
rise to the occasion.
They show up to big games. Did you guys?
Well,
I also
I think
text.
that-
Yeah, go ahead, Dino.
If you going back to Hard Knocks, but one of the cool things, another cool thing about Dan Campbell is I think he has this awesome way of addressing expectations and big games, which is like instead of doing that whole like it's just another game, doesn't matter, he like embraces it. Is like, yeah, we're going to be on national TV. Let's go out there. Let's show them who we are. Let's enjoy this moment. Like, he's doesn't try to hide from it, and he's kind of always gotten the team up for those moments. And he calls plays aggressively, which I think gives the team confidence. Like, yeah, we're going out here to kick ass. We're not going out here to not lose.
Yeah. No. I think Campbell in general. I bet you he's not shying away from like acknowledging that people have very high expectations for us for this team, and I think
Yeah. Well, to answer my own question.
Yeah. What would you do?
I don't have, and I will not have an actual strategy, but I'm pretty sure I have an inkling of how I'll respond. I think that I'll be upset for sure. I'll feel a little like at sea, like lost my bearings. I might very well eat things that are bad for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
Like I'm lactose intolerant. I might just go eat a bunch of ice cream because I like it,
Good
even
idea.
though I know I'm gonna pay for it later.
Yep.
You have
I'll
to
do
soothe
things.
yourself.
I'll make poor choices in the aftermath of the loss, and as a way, not as a strategy, just as losing my bearings a little bit. But I do agree that DC and the whole coaching staff, they have like a very realistic approach, and also they have a way of turning negatives into positives. Like, you know, they don't sugarcoat, and they're super excited. You know, they don't pretend like it's not a big deal, but they also don't overreact to losses. They react properly, pretty much, and so it really helps. I know I'm going to lose my bearings. I won't quite know what to do. I'll make poor choices, but the Lions coaching staff will not, and that'll make me feel a little bit better.
I also think like we are gonna go through a period of games where we struggle, like the KC did last year, the 49ers did last year. They went through a few games. It's almost like inevitable in a 17-game season with this much parity in the league, and we're playing in a tough division. We have a tough schedule. Like I'm not honestly, like, despite my 1,000,001 prediction, I do expect us to win 11 or plus games, but I'm not. You know, the team that wins the Super Bowl is not necessarily doesn't go undefeated.
Yeah. Well,
Except this.
Let's go. Not yet.
The other thing that I heard that I did not know that had me changing my win total from 11 to 12 and would have me not surprised if they win even more. And I texted you guys this. Of their 17 games, 14 are indoors. And that is crazy.
Baby.
And I think
Climate
they
control.
only have scheduled one like cold game. So of their 3 outdoor games, like only one of them is maybe it's a
would
late
benefit any
Lambeau
team.
game. I mean the what is it called? The what's aligning? The stars are aligning for this team.
Yeah.
A couple things before we go. The Roargasm now is if you want to reach out to us with questions, comments, requests. If you want to know, for instance, you want to share with us your home recipe for premature ejaculines when it's sold out, like you're kind of the things
Everyone
you
has
make.
their home brew.
Yeah, I mean you have to. It's you can write us at the Roargasm, all one word. Somehow Roargasm at Gmail was taken, which I almost want to write that email address and be like, who are you?
Probably Big Don.
It's probably down.
I have
Roargasm.
the URL roargasm.com.
The Roargasm at gmail.com for comments, questions, requests. And the other thing we want to let you all know about, listeners, is you may even have heard it. I don't know what Lomas is going to do once he gets behind the mixing board. But we have not one, not two, but 3 theme songs that the other 2 men on this podcast have whipped up. It's led to some arbitration and mediation because there's been some differences in vision, it turns out. Mm-hmm. But nevertheless,
One of us had a vision. The other one just threw some crap at the at a speaker,
You know
at
what?
a microphone.
The Lions haven't had any controversy, but we have.
Oh yeah.
We're knee deep in it.
our,
yeah.
our locker room is a site of conflict.
Just
But you can look
It's
forward
toxic.
to that.
It's toxic locker room.
You can look forward to that. Let me ask you the last question, because I think we were talking about this possibly before we started recording. What's your watching plan for next Sunday, September 8th? And let's not lead with Deano. We'll end it with Deano because he's got the best answer. Lomas, where are you going to be? Who are you watching with?
yeah. Is the game nationally televised? Do we know?
It's NBC
Yes,
Sunday night.
night.
It's
Oh, it's
NBC
Sunday night.
game.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
even realize.
Dude.
Then I'll be at home watching, probably just me watching it, most likely.
Wow.
So it'll be me, myself, and I, and the dog, and
In a robe.
yeah, snuggled up in a robe.
When that happens, and the first lady of the Roargasm comes downstairs to ask how you're doing, are you like, leave me alone? Or do you welcome her presence? Does she know to bring you popcorn at particular moments, or does she just get out
Well,
of
the robe will be only loosely cinched, so it will ward off most other people in the vicinity. I just
Nice.
don't want to be disturbed.
Well, so I'm going to be watching it, I believe, here. And as I mentioned, the other member who's quite close to the inner circle, he joined the text thread last year, Winds of Fury, who lives in Brooklyn, is going to be in Chicago for work. And he's going to come over, and we're going to watch the game together. And I'm not...
Nice.
I don't know his style of watching sports.
Right.
And it's going to be... Hopefully it'll be
That's iffy. Watch a first-time watch party with someone.
With an unknown.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
gonna. Well, we both are coming up. We're gonna kind of have like a prenup that we're gonna sign.
Yeah.
At halftime, we may go into separate places, and it'll be understood. That's just. But Deano, you got the best answer to this question, which is.
Gee, let me think about this. Where am I going to be watching the game? Oh, I don't know. A little place called Ford Field. Forward down Ford Field. And that, of course, is all thanks to the biggest patron of the Roaraholics, Big Don.
Wow.
Big
Is it
Don?
just you and Big Don?
No, Big Don's flying in for the big game with some of the Donlets.
So the Donlets
little-
are large people also.
The Donlets are
Not
huge,
so little,
and
yeah.
they are huge, furious Roaraholics. Even though they've been raised in Los Angeles, they are so on board.
Oh, we got a
And
Zoom bomber.
I
back
am
here.
super excited to be watching with, as I always say, my 60,000 best friends.
Let's get Ezra on the mic.
What?
For a second.
All right, little
Wait,
Dino's
really
here.
quick
Right, we got
before
little
we
Deano
get
in the house.
hold on a sec. One question before we get our special guest. Dino, do you know where your seats are? Where are you guys sitting? Do you have any idea?
Let me think about that. I don't know, but since Big Don's bought them, I'm gonna say pretty darn good. Okay, okay.
I just want to say to Big Don, this is awesome, very generous of you. Not quite generous enough, as I'm still waiting for my invitation. I assume it'll show up in the mail any day, so I'll be there. I'm super psyched to join you guys. Yeah,
Anything you want to add, little Dino?
get in there. You got to get on
I
camera.
wasn't invited myself, so that's
Well,
messed
you
up.
can address Big Don right now.
Big Don, very disappointed. I thought we were, friends like that, but I guess not.
What happened to the next generation?
Yeah, we got to nurture the
Wait,
next generation.
I
of
thought
Roaraholics.
I thought Little Dino is the halftime cubing entertainment at Ford Field.
Good point. He is the official halftime cuber.
It's
Yeah.
Actually doing a
they're like, we
cube
have a
version of this
what
Finger
happens? What happens if this? Okay, this is what happens in the first half. There's like, God forbid, a long injury timeout. There's a bunch of replays, and the first half.
like it.
The first half takes 2.5 hours, and they're like,
Yeah.
They're like, halftime can only be 79 seconds. What kind of entertainment can we have?
Oh,
and we're like, how about a guy that can solve 64 Rubik's Cube pyramids in that amount of time? And he just comes out and just blazes down a table
Guys.
of pyramids. And then the teams come out. in the
I hate
second
to
half.
say it, but all they're going to need are 1.45 seconds for halftime for Lil Dino. That's all he's going to need to put on a show.
Fastest halftime. ever.
Fastest hands in the West.
Is this is this the first time that
We
we've
got
had?
come on in.
Yeah, what are you doing here?
All right, we got senior Dino.
We got
Dino.
Papa Dino.
Oh my God!
Papa Dino.
Yeah, say hello.
Does he know?
You got to
That's
lean
you,
into the
Dad.
mic.
Hello, who's that?
That's Todd, Uncle Brother.
Oh,
You're not on.
He's the head roaraholic. Okay.
I think Ted is
Wait,
getting.
a
is he getting
quick
lead?
question: is this the
Dad,
first
is this
time?
football?
Not that
we're
I'm
gonna
not.
end this with you.
what
Is this the
but-
first
I
time
don't
we've
know
had a
who's there.
world record
Papa-
holder on our?
That's Jeremy.
Hello.
Papa Dino.
That's me.
I didn't know
Do you
Paul
think-
Schaefer
what
was
do you
your
think
guy's
the-
dad.
What do you think the Lions will do this
Wait a
year?
minute, that's-
What do you think? What's your prediction for the Lions this
That's
year?
Uncle Bonham. I don't even know.
Uncle
Yeah.
Broham, get it right, man.
He's a good-looking man. Oh, that's
you.
All right.
The
Thank you.
Lions
Lions. Here we go.
all the way.
Yes!
all the way.
Yes! Let's go!
Lions are going all the way this year.
Papa Dino with some wisdom.
Papa
folks.
Dino.
Write that down.
He's still.
Papa Dino.
Dino says all the way.
That's right.
Papa Dino's
All the
been
way.
wearing the same underwear since '57. He's really ready.
I'll
to
give
take
you
them
an
on.
old and goldie. Marching down the field, it is a team that will not yield. And when the blue and silver play, we'll also sing hooray. Rah, rah, rah. That's
All right.
great.
All right.
All
It's a
right,
good
wait,
win,
are
Andy.
we,
Get out of here.
are we
I saw
doing
so
a
many games you
Are we doing a 5-part roar?
Oh.
Are we doing a
Little
5-part
Dino
roar?
wants Dino wants to add his
Is there a
season prediction.
game? Like
Yeah, we already did that. You
all right,
can
so
add.
what were their predictions?
We already went through them.
Just
The
do
high
yours.
one was 13 and
13.
yeah,
That was
13 and 4.
13 and 4.
Yeah.
All right.
Little Dino, rev it up.
Little Dino, get on camera, man. Come on, let's.
Get him.
My bad.
Wow.
Lions season prediction is the highest the prediction will ever go, I think, in the history of the Lions.
Do not
of
say
my
15
predictions.
and 2.
Get to it.
Please say 16 and 1.
14 and 3.
Ooh, baby! Hot sauce. Hot sauce.
I don't think we'll lose a division game all year.
Wow!
Whoa.
Wow!
Nice.
Wow!
Hot.
The
Hot.
flambe
Spicy.
Packers. The flambe Packers.
All right, we got to run, so let's roar this.
Let's roar it
mother
out. This is the first roar.
First roar of the season.
First roar of the season.
For sure, it won't be recorded, but that's okay.
And
Yeah, this will
Lomas,
not
are you
record
gonna, Lomas,
properly.
you going to be able to
We're gonna
post this before kickoff next week? Are you getting this up tomorrow? What's
Doubtful.
That was
I pledge that I shall.
all right.
I will.
Here we go.
Lee Netter.
Hold on a sec. As ever, wet the whistle.
Not that it matters,
Spring
but
chicken.
wet the whistle.
Spring chicken. Spring chicken. The Human Torch
Horton
was
hears
denied
a
a bank
who.
loan.
Roar. You know what? If that's any sign of the football that the Lions are going to be playing this season, I'll see you all at the parade. That's all I gotta say.
baby.
That was. I mean, we hadn't. Let's be honest. We're talking after the roar as ever. We had not practiced a roar in a number of months, and that may have been our cleanest roar ever.
Hot out of the gate.
We don't even need practice. Practice? We talk about practice.
Practice.
Actually, practice is pretty important.
All right.
Okay, sign us off.
Yeah, but I shouldn't go out because you gotta finish uploading, right? Or stop recording. And
All
then
right.
it'll
Well,
finish up.
that's the end of this pod. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye bye.
See ya.